Hello. In this video, we're going to do a very quick run through on how to manually migrate a WordPress site to another spot on your server. This entails a few things. One, we need to make a home for our WordPress files, make a home for our WordPress data, move over the files, move over the data, make a connection between the files and the new database, and then run what's called a find and replace script to fix all the URLs everywhere in the database. Let's begin. I've got this website at to migrate, totally normal, whatever. Let's go through each step that we need to do. First, I'm going to make a home for the new website. I want it to be at, let's move, ducksarecool.website/let's move. There we go. We have a brand new completely empty folder. This is going to be the destination for all the files. I'm going to compress all the to migrate files into something else. What I'm going to do is select all of my files, hit compress. I'll just wrap it up in a zip archive. There we go. I have a zip file that has all of the files of my WordPress site that's over at to migrate. I'm going to move this to let's move. I'm going to unzip it. There we go. We got all our files. So we've completely ported over all the files. Now let's make a home for the data. We can do this using the MySQL database wizard. I'm going to call this just let's move. Check all my privileges. There we go. Now we've got an empty database, we've got the user, and we've got our privileges. Now I just need to make a copy of the data. Just as I made a copy of all my WordPress files, I need to make a copy of the WordPress database. I've got PHP my admin. Over here's a list of my, what do you call them? All my databases. Let's see if I can remember which is the name of the thing that I need to move. In interest of time, let's see. I can find it here in WP config. WP801. I can double check this by going to the options table to migrate. There we go. So I'm going to select here. This is selecting everything. You can see all the tables. I'm going to do an export. I need to set custom and change these two parameters. This is all you need to do. Uncheck add create procedure /function /event statement, and check add drop table /view /procedure /function event statement. That's all you got to do. Hit go, and it will download the MySQL database. There we've got our data. What we called it? DuckBaf let's move. This is an empty database. We're going to import the data. Hit go. there we are. We have a whole bunch of data. Isn't that neat? So we got our files moved over. We've got our data where we want it to be, but these don't actually talk to one another. What happens when you go to Let's Move? Page not found. It's not sure what it's supposed to be doing right now. So we need to just do one simple, we need to connect the database to the files. Here I am in Let's Move. Find wp-config and use the code editor. And we're going to we're going to alter these 3 lines and then do a little bit of security stuff. The database name, we change that to let's_move. The user is the same. The password is this. I'm going to do one final thing. These are some security things that you need to change. Just copy this link right here. Copy all of that and replace it. And that's all we need to do for that. So what happens when we go to Let's Move now? It might still get you a redirect, but we can change things around. There's just one final thing that we have to do. Here we are at Let's Move. If you look at the options table, you'll see that the website is still, it's incorrect. It needs to be ducksarcool.website/to-migrate. So we just need to do one final thing, and that's run a find and replace script. You can search for WordPress find and replace. This thing from interconnectit.com. This is just a very small application. I need to upload this here to my WordPress directory. Extract it. I need to copy this because I have to find it in my, I have to find it right here. What this is asking you to do is just give it the old URL for the site and replace it with the new one. So I like to just copy this directly. And we want this to be replaced with Let's Move. You don't need to mess around with anything. You can do a dry run, which will basically simulate what will happen when it runs this find and replace. It tells you where the changes are actually going to happen, and that is that it will change the site URL and the site URL to the new thing. So I think that's fine. I'm going to do a live run. Gives you one last chance to back out. All right, now that that's done, very first thing you have to do is delete this. You have to delete the folder that had the search and replace application in it. And that's because you'll notice that this just rewrote your database. And I didn't have to put in any credentials or anything. Super important that you don't leave that lying around, because if a bot found that, then it would have access to your whole site. And that is not, that's not what you want. So let's find out. Sometimes there might be just one last thing that you have to do. So if you take a look at the URL down there in the bottom left, that it says that I'm going to be going to a page on the Let's Move WordPress instance, but when I click on it, then it actually brings me to the old site. This is just a problem that I don't really understand the root of, but I know how to fix it. So if we just log in, and we're going to reset the permalink settings. just need to save changes. And what this does is it just it rewrites the .htaccess file and make sure that everything goes smoothly. So I'll just log out of this. There we go. We're on the correct site. So yeah, it might be a little janky at first, but you can just go into your settings and just save the permalink. Just save your permalink settings page. The same thing that you have to do actually when you use Duplicator or WP Migrate or any one of the WordPress migration apps.